Whether you believe it or not, werewolf weaknesses are a bunch of lies. In this video, we will soon find out what actually kills them. The blood moon rises. The full moon hung heavy over Blackmire Forest, its pale light cutting through the trees like a knife. Beneath its glow, the village of Eldermere lay in ruins, windows boarded, doors barred, the stench of wolfsbane and burnt silver hanging thick in the air. For centuries, the townsfolk had relied on the old tales. Silver bullets blessed by priests, wolfsbane garlands hung above doorways, the chanting of Latin verses passed down through generations of hunters. But tonight, the beast had torn through another hunting party like paper. The silver lie. Eli Wexler knelt in the mud, his gloves slick with blood and something worse, the sour tang of failed alchemy. The shredded remains of the hunter's silver traps coiled around his boots like dead snakes, their jagged edges still glowing faintly with holy inscriptions.
This armor is useless.
The corpse at his feet was barely recognizable as human. Ribs jutted through what remained of the church's blessed armor, the steel pauldrons peeled back like fruit rind. Deep, blackened claw marks radiated from the center of the chestnut random slashes. Eli realized with dawning horror but precise incisions. Surgical.
Silver doesn't work.
Eli's voice was raw. He pressed a trembling hand against the hunter's ruined throat, feeling the unnatural heat still pulsing in the veins.
Not anymore. Maybe it never did.
Then, what the hell kills them?
Kara, the last surviving member of Eldermere's militia, wiped her notched blade on her sleeve. The motion left a dark streak across the embroidered cross on her coat, the same symbol that had been stamped on every coffin they'd buried this month. A howl split the night, too close. Eli's eyes locked onto the tree line where the beast had vanished minutes earlier. The underbrush trembled, not from wind, but from something moving against it. Watching the heretic's lab, Eli hadn't always been a hunter. 10 years ago, he'd stood in the Grand Seminary's halls, a prodigy biologist deciphering ancient medical texts. His sin? Dissecting a werewolf's brain under candlelight and discovering the truth, lycanthropy wasn't demonic possession, it was virology. The church burned his papers, missed the one sewn into his coat lining. Now, his lab was a rotting fishing hut, sunk into the black marsh, its walls papered with stolen military schematics and autopsy sketches. Kara gagged as she stepped inside. The stench of formaldehyde and wet fur clung to everything. Jars of organs floated in yellowed liquid, their labels peeling. Lupine liver, stage 3 mutation. Cerebral cortex, post-silver exposure.
Forget what the church taught you. You see, my research shows that neither silver or holy water does anything to these monsters. Whatever the church has taught us are lies.
Eli slammed a dented metal case onto the table. Inside lay 3 abominations of science. 1. Tungsten teeth. Eli held up a jagged wolf-like fang forged from depleted uranium alloy.
You see, silver worked once. However, these monsters have built an immunity to silver, and now it doesn't do anything. It just makes them angrier.
He tapped a microscope slide smeared with blackened tissue.
See these dendritic patterns? It's a freaking immune response.
Kara's breath hitched as he loaded a modified rifle with rounds shaped like molars.
So, this is how we will bite them back.
2. Rabies virus grenades. A syringe of glowing green liquid rolled toward Kara. She recoiled.
Is that what I think it is? If yes, you are my genius.
Yes, you guessed it right. Lycanthropy's kryptonite. A special virus I have sequenced, just to kill these monsters once and for all.
Eli's grin was ghastly in the lantern light. He'd spliced the strain himself, using pus scraped from a werewolf's infected bite. overload their regeneration until their own blood dissolves them. 3. Sonic emitter. The handheld device whined when Eli thumbed its activation rune. Kara's teeth vibrated.
Wolves hear up to 80 kilohertz. This, on the other hand, broadcasts at 91.5. So you see, there's no chance in hell a werewolf would ever stand a chance once I press the trigger.
A glass jar shattered. Then another. Kara clapped her hands over her ears as the frequency climbed until Eli switched it off. The silence rang louder than the scream.
You are insane.
Kara whispered. Eli tossed her the emitter.
I am the only one who listened when the wolves started talking during the hunts.
The steel mill ambush. They lured the beast to the abandoned foundry where the stink of molten metal still clung to the rusted vats. Perfect cover. The werewolf came at moonset knot on all fours, but standing, its elongated fingers brushing the ground like a surgeon scrubbing in. Eli's stomach turned, its learning human posture. Kara fired the sonic emitter. The creature's head snapped back, its jaw unhinging in a silent scream as its eardrums burst. Black fluid oozed from its nostrils. Eli took the show this tungsten round, punched clean through its knee. No holy smoke, no healing, just blood thick as tar spattering the concrete. The werewolf laughed, a wet, gurgling sound halfway to speech. Then it lunged. Eli barely had time to throw the rabies grenade. The vial shattered against the beast's chest, releasing a virulent green mist. For 3 heartbeats, nothing. Then, the werewolf's muscles locked. Its veins rose like worms under skin, blackening as the synthetic virus multiplied. Eli watched, transfixed, as its eyeballs liquefied. Pop. The corpse hit the ground with a wet thud. This time, it stayed down. The church came at dawn. Eli watched from the reeds as black-robed figures torched his life's work. His notebooks curled to ash, their pages whispering secrets only the flames would remember.
You could have saved us. Instead, you made weapons.
Another howl echoed, but this one came from the east, then the south, coordinated. Eli's blood went cold.
Well, guess what? I didn't make these weapons. I simply reverse engineered them.
Subject Alpha. In the lab's ashes, Eli found the one thing the flames couldn't touch, a steel lockbox stamped with a wolf's head crowned in thorns. Inside, a single line of text in a hand he recognized his own mentor's script, written the night the man disappeared. Phase 2 complete. They're no longer vulnerable to tungsten. And beneath it, a fresh addendum in unfamiliar ink. Weaponize the rabies strain, await the red moon. Somewhere in the forest, a twig snapped. Not the heavy tread of a beast, but the deliberate step of something that remembered being human. Kara cocked the modified rifle.
Eli, please tell me you have a Phase 3 setting on this weapon.
Eli stared at the note. The truth was worse than heresy. The wolves weren't evolving. They were following orders. Now that you know the truth, that silver won't save you, do the smart thing. Share this with every hunter, skeptic, and horror fan you know. They'll thank you later. Subscribe and turn on notifications. The next moonrise is closer than you think. Like if you'd survive the hunt, or would you?